Welcome to the Real Chili Podcast.
And the Golden Eagles of Marquette University in Milwaukee are bound for the Final Four for only the third time ever.
5 seconds left. Marquette down by 1, trying to avoid the upset. Blue the drive, the left hand. It's good. 1 second to play. Vander blew and put Marquette in front by 1.
And I want to win every day as basketball players, as students, and I want to win every day, most importantly, as people.
Hit it. Neighbor Pete, you're on. Hello.
Welcome, Marquette fans, to the Real Chili Podcast, where Justin Lewis said, "This is December and you're in Bedford Falls, not Potterville, bitches."
Oh, yeah, baby!
We got Pete Mohan. We got Eric Pond, fresh off contracting COVID at a basement party. We got Brian Henry. Everybody, let's celebrate this Wisconsin victory, baby.
Oh, my God. I just and for people that are our era of Marquette fans who came on in the immediacy in the post-Wade era, I know every team feels like it. I know you'd all agree. It feels like we've lost games like this 1,000 times. Jesus God, does it feel wonderful to win one like. I mean, that was as satisfying a finish and as ridiculous a finish to a basketball game that you'll ever see. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Pete Mohan, what do you got?
It was the Justin Lewis show, baby. And
Yeah,
get used to a little bit more of that money in the bank because that dude is a primetime player. We were texting at the beginning of the game like he was one of the only guys that wanted to shoot the ball. And it was only fitting that he was the one who sealed the deal. And offensive rebounds, baby. Offensive rebounds. W. That's all it takes.
Eric Pond.
Just complete intensity from this team. I am so jacked about everything we saw tonight. Could things have gone better to start? Yes. Are we happy with where we are? Yes. This is probably one of the top 10 wins by a Marquette team I've ever seen as a fan. I grew up in Wisconsin. I was also group chatting with many of my high school buddies, all of whom went to University of Wisconsin. This could not have been more rewarding to beat the biggest rival and in one of the best college basketball rivalries in the country, and to do it as an unranked team with promising freshmen and newcomers against the number 4 team in the nation. Bros, I am on my feet right now.
I mean, look, just get it right to the. I want to just get everyone's immediate reaction. Like, could you when DJ's shooting that second free throw, does the idea of somebody getting an offensive rebound and scoring even enter anyone's brain? Like when I saw it happen, it was one of those like, and everybody explode. Like that just made it all the more incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, that you could watch basketball for 30 years and never see a finish like that.
The play every team wishes they could draw up when they are actually down at that point with the time running out, right, to get that 2 point instead of the 1. Lewis is just playing beyond his years at this point and out of his freaking mind.
That's literally the play that you practice when you play the game 21. That's literally
that's great.
Like you play 21 your whole life to make that play. That was textbook.
Right. Justin Lewis deserves to get more free throws after that shot to get more points on the board even after we won. That's what he deserved. No, I mean the defense in this game by Marquette was outstanding. The rotations were great. Yeah, we left some open shooters. Wisconsin keeps the ball moving. I mean, it's an experienced offense, and they move the ball well, and we rotated well. And they didn't shoot all that great, but that was a lot. A lot of that was due to Marquette's pressure defense. We were super tough inside, and the one of the biggest trends that we've seen out of this team, which is going to continue to lead us to have success, I think, is our ability to get to the free throw line and a focus on to get to the free throw line. So I think and being able to convert most of our chances. So those are the two big takeaways for me.
Those guys stretch the floor. I mean, that's a hallmark of Wisconsin offense. They use their big men to stretch the floor, and they have, with their length, usually have the ability to get off shots. And this team has been the best at contesting perimeter shots out of all of the Wojo teams that I've seen. I mean, part of it is we don't have a Rousey or a Howard in the lineup anymore. Something I forgot to comment on from last game, an observation. There was a couple times where Kobe and DJ Carton both had a really nice contest, flat-footed, allowing them to, recover if the guy were to pump fake and move it on. So that's not something that you could hope for with Marcus Howard on defense. These guys have totally revamped the defense, and the ability to, keep Wisconsin from taking over the game with their 3-point shooting is a game changer. That's not something that we've seen. And that was part of the reason we won. Absolutely.
Brian Henry, I have two questions for you. One, how many prostitutes have solicited you right now since you've been in your car there?
At least, yeah.
And
at least,
two,
yeah.
And two, what are your thoughts on DJ Carton tonight?
I mean, I'll tell you what. If DJ listened to our last pod, he really came out with the attitude of shoving up our ass. He was, I'd say, about what we thought he was in the first half of the game. Pete, I thought he flipped a completely different switch and was the guard that we need him to be in the second half of the basketball game. His huge drives in the final 3 minutes of the game to get to the basket. He drew some fouls, teed up a few guys, and obviously finished, which in the first half, and I'll cut him some slack, Wisconsin's got some shot blockers on that team. It's not exactly easy going to the rim against those guys. He missed quite a few. We got a few thrown back at him. That's going to happen. But goddamn, did he hit some big ones. That was not the exact performance I think we'd love to see from DJ going forward. This is what you want from him. But that was a very encouraging step against elite competition to see him hit big shots and make big plays for this. He was next to Justin Lewis. I thought he was the next most important guy on the floor.
And that's something that was a theme for the whole game, was that our offense was most successful going inside and going to the hoop. And that's something that we've been asking for. Like and it's not just, drawing fouls and getting free throws, which obviously was a big part of it, but the finishing, like you said, that's something that we haven't seen the guards do so far this season, and really a lot of last season. And before that, they finished with confidence around the rim, Kobe as well. It was amazing.
I mean, Eric Pond, this game was played on the block for both teams. How weird was that to watch a Marquette team do that? This was Justin Lewis, Theo John, and Dawson Garcia on the block. That's where the offense went through.
A complete new experience as a
it was kind of fun.
A very novel sort of Marquette approach on offense. It was extremely fun. You even saw it from the get with Theo with two running hook shots, missed the first, made the second. And from there you saw a lot of it. And I think that goes to the talent composition of this team. And this is just such a much more aggressive team. I think you also see again, it goes without saying, but I think we had five, we're 2 of 5 from deep going into the very last minute of the first. We ended up hitting, I think, those last 2 threes with Justin Lewis and DJ, which was just an incredible moment to swing momentum going into half. But otherwise, it was just a show of completely aggressive play, driving to the hoop, dropping it inside, and it was wildly impressive. It was more of a team that was taking control than one that was really living on a prayer from that 3-point line, which is actually a little bit more of what we saw from that UW team in the first half. And then going late in the game, holy shit, it was unbelievable to see what Lewis did. Garcia really popped in certain moments. I'd like to see him really be more visible and present throughout the game, and I'm not quite sure why that was, that he really wasn't there for stretches. But this team is really fun, and it's just exciting to watch. And it's, Bubbles, you said, it's shocking to watch as a Marquette fan who's actually watched any Marquette games in the last 5 years.
It's really fun and shocking to watch if the opposing team is playing man-to-man defense. We'll make that
zone was a different story. That's for sure.
Make that point.
Yeah.
But DJ was great. Lewis, amazing. Dawson. The thing about Dawson is he just doesn't seem quite ready for the physical nature of D1 basketball, which happens with freshmen. But man, what a moment for Justin Lewis. I mean,
we can't spend enough time on it. You're right.
We literally just witnessed the comeuppance of perhaps the next big Marquette basketball star.
Put it in some perspective. I know it's putting everybody on the spot. I don't know if anybody's thought about it. Best performance by a freshman since what? Like legit. I mean, and I'm not just talking pure box score, right? Like we know Marcus had big games. We know Henry Ellenson had big games. Best performance by a freshman against an elite opponent in a victory since what? I mean, seriously.
D Wade. I don't know.
I mean, we had
some huge.
There's got to be someone in there.
Yeah, the James Matthews crew had him. The Lazar Hayward had big games as a freshman. Jimmy Butler was a sophomore when he came in, so he didn't have it. I mean, there are other guys that I'd be fascinated if people in the comments can jump. I mean, that was as good. Think about this. Before that shot, and Pete, I know you were Worth, I know you were fired up about this. When it was, with about 45 seconds left, just under, I think it was tied at that moment, and they ran a post up for Justin, and he scored. Right at him on the right block. It was, hey, minute left. We're running a pin down play to get Justin Lewis on the right block, and we're going to challenge them not to double, and he's going to go score. And he freaking did it. Like that's big boy basketball right there. I mean, man.
After The Last Dance aired, and it was the first piece of sports that we could sink into our veins as sports fans during this pandemic, I immediately, after finishing the entire series, I immediately watched Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals, where John Stockton would just walk the ball up and throw it to Karl Malone. And that's what this game felt like to me. Just feed Karl Malone / Justin Lewis and let him go to work.
I love that.
Mailman light.
We reference this often, but it is such an important part of our analysis as we go into podcasts, especially now when we do it immediately following the game and we're live. The group text, we went back and forth for a couple minutes there when we figured this would be close with 6-7 minutes left in the game, 5 minutes left in the game. And the question around the horn was, who takes that shot when this is down to the last seconds of the game? Who do you want the ball? Who takes that ball and shoot it? Who do you want with the ball in their hand? And the question was answered tonight. It's Justin Lewis. It's unbelievable that is the case. And I will tell you what, I'm not sure anyone responded with that in the moment. At the same time, it looks like the obvious answer. It's just incredible to see that as a freshman coming in to do that. In this game, to me, you look at other games, you look at Villanova as the number one team in the nation when we achieved that upset 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I'm losing track of time. This game, you have a little bit of that multiplier effect. There were big Wisconsin games in the past. We have beat high-ranked top 10 teams in the past. We just beat a top 5 Wisconsin team led by freshmen and newcomers. This is such an impressive win.
And let's not bury the lead, Eric. And I know Mohan, you're thinking about this. After looking like ass on Tuesday,
we disappeared,
especially
in the second half to end that game. We literally just we looked like we were dragging into the end of that game, like behind a freaking boat going 60 miles an hour on a tube, and we just went like way off into the distance.
Tell you guys what, I think there's been a lot of hand wringing about Wojo and everything, and
I was just going to say this.
Like this is, I guess, the defense kind of that everyone expected that Wojo would be able to deliver. And you know what our team kind of reminded me of today was reminded me of like an Ed Cooley Providence team. Just solid front court play, 2-end basketball. This team is never going to win games by just being an elite offensive team. That they've shown as much. But clearly the defense is good enough to step up and win a game on its own. They almost did it against Oklahoma State. I mean, if you want to perceive it from that lens, the offense totally shit the bed against Oklahoma State, and the defense kept it to a game that we were within a few possessions of. And here, the defense delivered again against an experienced Wisconsin team. That is something else that we have an inexperienced squad in Marquette, and this was an experienced Badgers team, and we were the ones that played with composure. Not that Wisconsin didn't, but the fact that we all of a sudden had only 11 turnovers in this game after 24 against Oklahoma State. I don't know where this maturity, appeared from, but it was an impressive turn of face from this roster.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought up that point because I was going to make it myself with the experience. When the game got down to 4 minutes left, and it was a one possession game, I was like, well, I am personally expecting our team to wilt under the pressure and turn it over more than Wisconsin, and don't trust really anybody to make big shots, while I can see 3 or 4 people from Wisconsin making big shots. And that did not happen. DJ Carton made big shots too. Eric, you said, we were relying on Justin Lewis. We were relying on both those guys down the stretch to make huge buckets. And they pulled it out. They made just enough plays to win.
Good question right now in the live chat, since we have the ability to do this. Andres Flores just asked, will the maturity be sustainable, though? What do you guys think?
This is something you build on, right? I mean, again, this is sort of a building block and a foundational win for this group of freshmen and DJ Carton, the class for all intents and purposes of 2020 for this team. It's foundational. It's something that you absolutely can take and then really, hopefully, coach upon to lead you to greater success in conference play. I know we only have one or two. We have UCLA, and then I think we have Green Bay next, and then we just head straight into Big East play. The momentum this gives us, and not only that, but the confidence it gives this young core is absolutely incredible. I think it's just something that, the maturity you hope to see. I think what we saw from Justin Lewis is innate. I'd like to actually see more of that from Garcia. Osa Iguodaro obviously didn't get his minutes today, and there were others who we know things didn't exactly game script didn't turn out to give them minutes, and it's something that we've been asking for. Cy on the bench a little more, DJ coming up. I think, to me, this is
Greg Elliott, baby.
Greg Elliott and Jamal Cain really did come and show out a little bit in their own ways. Greg Elliott was fantastic.
15 minutes for Greg Elliott.
Hold on, I need to shout out to M in the comments. I'm not sure if that's the woman from James Bond or not, but she said he or she said also, did Greg Elliott play the most perfect 15 minutes of all time? And the absolute, without a doubt, answer is yes, he did.
Well, you can see, those of you at home, we have the Ken Palm box score up here, and Greg Elliott with a sparkling 208 offensive rating in 15 minutes. I'll let you at home distill what that means if you're a fan of the offensive rating statistic, but that is beyond elite, essentially.
I mean, I think we'd all
3 steals to no turnovers, which,
in addition to Greg and Pete, you started going down the Wojo road a little bit ago. I mean, look, they shook up the starting lineup tonight. We saw a lot less Samir Torrance. We saw more Greg. We saw more DJ in long stretches. And I'm not going to, look, they didn't exactly light up the scoreboard offensively. Let's not all pretend that all the offensive problems are completely fixed. But that was the right Wojo pushed the right buttons tonight with the combinations on the court, and it got them a massively improbable victory. And he deserves credit for that. And the players deserve credit for it, for responding and stepping up. And props to Greg for being ready and not pouting when he didn't get on the court a ton through the first couple. And he's going to play himself into a regular rotation role on this team.
Greg's a man.
Yeah, I think we also and we've talked about this in the first 3 pods of the season or 4 pods of the season. This is not Wojo playing with Play-Doh, trying to really just sculpt a great fucking fresco. It's chemistry. He is trying to figure out the right amount of each of these individuals in the right situations.
100%.
It's going to take time, but
right. Eric, I agree. It's not solved right now yet. No way, it's not.
But we just had a really good indicator that it's on its way, and that it is really promising.
Let me tell you something. Justin Lewis is getting very close to taking someone's spot in the starting rotation. It's the question as to how that can be a discussion for another pod, but I mean,
we need a lot more. We need a lot more moles of Justin Lewis if we're talking chemistry. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you guys, this obviously was a great defensive performance. Brian, do you mind turning off your buzzer? It's quite distracting.
Sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a harbor of some kind.
Hey, I think it's still cool that he can join from the car.
I think so too. You just don't know where he's from or where he's at right now, and I kind of like the mystery.
A lot of humming going on.
My question is
somewhere south of 12 Mile and Woodward, so in Metro Detroit.
So literally halfway between Greg Elliott and Jamal Cain's homes.
Yes, yeah.
Somewhere.
I'm going to hop on Woodward and go straight up to Pontiac and party with everybody that's celebrating Jamal Cain bombing threes against a huge team. So
somewhere in the middle of a Journey song, that's where he's at.
Let me ask you guys this. So obviously the defense has shown flashes of being able to be, the highlight of this squad. I think defense is something that, it's not something that maybe ebbs and flows in games as much as offense, especially for this team, who's going to have a lot of offensive struggles throughout the year. What do you think it would take for them to really have a letdown all of a sudden on defense? And is this defense for real? Is it here to stay? I mean, because Theo played less minutes tonight than normal, and the defense was just as good, if not better. So I don't think it's necessarily a function of Theo being on the court because, look, Wisconsin has tons of length, and we were still able to handle them without Theo. So I don't know. What do you guys think is the future of this defense, and is it going to stay this good?
I see consistency from 4 games, so I'm confident in that. And the thing that I really like is that when Dawson goes out, I mean, Lewis is huge on the defensive end too with the way he blocks shots. Mm-hmm. That block he had, I don't know if it was Reavers, the guy from the first one. Yeah. When he just stuffed his ass out of bounds, that was fantastic. So our interior defense already sets up our perimeter defense to be good, whether Theo John's out there or not. So 4 games of consistently good defense, 2 of them against high quality opponents, 1 against a future, possibly top 3, maybe top 1 pick in Cunningham against Oklahoma State. I did think we played pretty well against him, even though that was mostly Kobe, even though we always have to have kind of a exception when we talk about Kobe, but he still played well tonight. Anyway, forget that. I still think that this is going to be a consistently good defense. What do you guys think?
I feel like Kobe deserves a little bit more than that probably tonight. I thought he actually filled his role, filled it well. It was good to see Akano, or is it Akano?
Akano.
Questioning this after hearing tonight's broadcast. Akano.
Trust yourself, not the broadcasters. That's my rule of thumb.
Sure. Yeah, we do the interviews with the players beforehand.
Unless when Steve Lavin's talking about letting the big dogs eat. Then
That was nice.
That oh my god, what a moment that was for you, Bubbles.
Really was.
It's definitely that was
we
real.
didn't really
Chili
want Theo to continue to eat. He ate just enough in this game, don't you think?
But it felt like Kobe.
Nibble.
It feels
Did
like
anybody
Kobe,
else get terrified when he caught the ball in the last 2 minutes and had that post? I freaked out. I was like, sweet Jesus, no. And he got an ad one. So what the hell do I know?
All right. Now, do my best Mike Lavender impression. Bubbles, stop interrupting. Eric, go.
I'm just saying, I feel like Kobe did a better job of playing within himself tonight, and I thought that was really important. I was happy to see it. In the times when we can get him driving down the lane like he did on multiple occasions tonight, let alone everything else he brought to the table on the other side of the ball, it's great. He can look like Emmitt Smith driving through a hole. Like, he does have a lot to bring to the table there. He brought it tonight. His intensity was great. I just feel like as much as we shit sometimes on someone like Kobe McEwen, or we actually do shit on Kobe McEwen a lot, he was very good tonight. In for the most part, did he have moments where he missed? Yes, he did. And I'm not talking about missing shots. He had moments also where he missed the moment. But Akano, again, promising to see him also drive, get the and one, draw the foul at that moment when he did. It seems like, again, it just all draws back to that aggressiveness that we have not seen consistently from this team in years. And it was just gritty, hard-nosed, I'm going to drive to the rim and draw the foul. And that was the difference for the most part in this game.
I thought too, just one more thing on the defensive side. You know, you mentioned Kobe, but I think DJ Carton really flashed on defense today. I mean, he did have 3 steals, which shows up on the box score, but more for me, it was him moving his feet and staying in front of the guards. He was really able to cut off the lane well in a lot of situations. And I mean, maybe it's that he had more minutes in this game. We got to see more of him on defense. He was more in the flow, but he actually looked like a positive defensive asset for this team, which is something that we haven't got from the point guard position in quite a while, which is nice.
Absolutely. And switching gears a little bit, speaking of Wisconsin guards, perhaps their worst one tonight, Greg. We're getting some chat, some mentions in the chat line about Greg Gard and why he didn't go to zone, and which does seem like he forgot to watch the Oklahoma State game, but also it's just not Wisconsin basketball.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
He should have let his guard down.
They were also busy handling Green
like he
Bay
did his math.
and UAPB. Like, let's
But
get
Pete, I mean, any of you guys watch enough you nailed it. They were never going to do that. That's not what Wisconsin. That's not how they play. And it's weird. I don't think that's even an attempt to be like, oh, we're being arrogant. This is not. I mean, there are. Look, like
they play their game,
right? Most of these coaches, especially if there's something you do well, you're not going to just drastically. Hey, they showed that on film. Now maybe you can.
This is the number 4 team in the country. They're going to play their game as the number 4 team in the country.
I don't think that was an indefensible thing the fact that they didn't go zone. I think, maybe, but again, it's not like we tore them up. We scored, what was the final score?
67-65.
Yeah. I mean, again,
we under hit, by the way.
We under hit. I looked bad on that one. I was texting the bros that the over looked good, but it missed by 1.5.
Well, good thing this bro didn't listen to you. So sorry, Bubbles. Go ahead.
Good bro. Great segue. Hey,
Greg Gard, the asymptomatic assassin, our friend Kevin Botting says on the text.
I think something that we need to do here, just for context for the game, for posterity's sake, for those people who are listening, to this podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud or whatever, and not in the YouTube live. For the record, Brad Davison, 18 minutes, 4 points. 18 minutes, 4 points, 0 of 4 shooting. And he had a turnover and fouled out. Including a huge missed front end with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left.
That's right.
Huge missed front end from a leader. From
We
a
get to talk about his
leader.
play a little here. I do have a few things drawn up in the junk drawer because it is so
Okay.
appropriately named for Brad Davidson.
Can we all go around and just say one mean thing about Brad Davison?
Sure. Okay. First of all, I would like somebody to, whoever it may be, to tweet at us or put in the live comments Brad Davison's cumulative 4-year stats against Marquette, and let's see how absolutely shitty they are. Please, somebody, a hero, give that to us.
All right, I'm next. Can someone please tweet Brad Davison the link for enterprise.com careers, because he's going pro in something other than sports.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't want to follow. I got nothing to follow that. My
I actually don't know the stat on this, but I think it's accurate. He may have touched more dicks in his college career than he has wins against Marquette University basketball team. I think it's true.
I thought you were going to say
Great
vagina,
stat.
and then I was going to say, okay, well, maybe we need to switch gears. But anyway,
I obviously
Ryan.
wouldn't. That's for the junk drawer. That's junk drawer.
Oh my god.
Hey, he has assaulted our players in the past.
He has it coming.
Nothing like making fun of 21-year-olds.
He fucking
Here on the
barely.
Real Philly podcast.
He almost neutered Joey Hauser, who, whatever. But skinhead on skinhead crime might be okay. I don't know where we stand on that.
Brian, you got a Brad Davison insult for us?
I think it'll be the most. It won't be nearly as creative as any of the three of you. Good riddance. I'm glad to never have to see him again. Have a
vaunted MUBB commentator Alan Bukowski says Brad Davison's hair sucks. So that'll be that sub in for Bubbles. Thank you.
He's
Alan.
bad bread. He's bad bread for a reason.
Everyone knows Brad Davidson's mom buzzes it with a buzz cut. You know, he gets the old mom in the kitchen buzzaroo for Brad.
Sounds like you just riffed off like a country line right there.
Well, Brad Davison's mom usually get those clippers out of her junk drawer, and we will get you into ours now. So, Eric Pond, as the purveyor of the junk drawer, lead us off.
Oh God! So this is coming sooner than I thought.
Sorry.
I have a few things here planned. A few of them are Brad Davison themed. I'll enter into the junk drawer with a few that are not, to just give us something different. But if anyone saw, it was actually featured after I wrote this note on the broadcast. But Wojo had a monster Quick Trip mug shown at about 12 minutes left in the second half. Really great. Is there a better gas station experience in the Midwest than Quick Trip, my bros?
I think
I don't think there is.
Speedway was up there in the game.
Convenience stores, a Speedway, man. You can't beat them.
I think Come and Go is the only.
We're on the way to
answer.
the convenience stores.
Speedway. There you go.
I have a quick story about that. Quick Aid, the sports drink produced by the gas station Quick Trip, once saved my life. So
go on.
It just did.
No, you need to go on. We need. To
well,
hear
I was.
Give us the 30-second version.
I was on a trip to Milwaukee. I had drank a lot the day before. I was feeling severely dehydrated. I stopped in the Quick Trip, got a Quick Aid, boosted right back.
If anyone is next time you're driving through the state of Wisconsin, or for anyone, one of our 26 listeners here live, or we know the millions of listeners out there in real Chili land, get the wild rice and cranberry bread with the turkey and Swiss sandwich.
This is incredible.
It is unbelievable. It is so good. I get it every time. I go on many trips to Wisconsin. I now live in Illinois, but
I want to follow up the gas station commentary with some of my own. I've lived on the East Coast for a while, so there's a few that come to mind. The Pennsylvania and New Jersey areas, Wawa is king.
Wawa's
establishment. Then you go up to New York, and Stewart's is the bee's knees in New York and upstate New York. And then you head east to New England, and there's a place, little hometown style place called Cumberland Farms, Old Cumbies. Gotta love Cumbies. Those are three really exceptional gas station in the store experiences.
Yeah. You ever had Sheets before? If you go DC South?
Sheets, yeah, in South Carolina, there's a lot of Sheets.
Sheets is the shit. They're so good. It's so good.
We need to pull over for never mind.
Take a Sheets.
Right.
Well, we're getting nasty here. So next junk drawer topic. This is now
Flint Tropics.
This is now the drunk drawer. Fellas.
We've all had Bacardi and Diet Cokes tonight. It's all right.
I think this was good because we did 34 minutes of real basketball discussion. Yeah. And I was like, if we really bring this home for landing now, it's going to be actually our shortest pod for our biggest win of the year. And that didn't sit well with me, but I do feel a 25-minute junk drawer situation here. Brian, if you need to, put her in D at any point, go ahead.
I need to answer a couple. So I do need to mention that our trusty friend, who I don't believe we've ever met, but still a trusty friend, Artie Sheboygan, has been very active on the chat tonight, and he was wondering where Mike Lavender is tonight. And Mike Lavender does have 2 small children, and apparently they wiped him out just as much as Justin Lewis wiped out the Badgers.
They were crying more than Brad Davison today.
He did it.
Hence my appearance leading the show here tonight. So and thank you, Artie, for your commentary. Mohan, I think you were going to contribute something, or I don't remember where we were, to be honest.
Bacardi family went to MU in the 70s.
In a second, let me get back to the whiteboard here.
So I have a few quick hits I can drop on.
Yeah, drop them.
So Steve Lavin, I think it was Steve Lavin, needs to stop saying bottoms when someone hits a 3 going into a TV timeout or a halftime. I don't think he understands what that means to a new generation of more like LGBTQ plus accepting people. But just screaming bottoms seems a little strange.
Well, I'm very glad you brought that up, because
go to a club and scream that.
My wife Corey was watching the game with me, and she made a comment about bottoms. She said, "What does he mean by bottoms?" And I said, "It went through the hoop and reached the bottom of the net." And I realized that it didn't really make sense, because she thought it meant, or thought that it should mean that the ball just ended up short and hit the bottom of the net, but didn't actually go through. So yes, I will stick by my wife's opinion and say Steve Lavin, get a new catchphrase.
Nice.
And I think she's in the other room and just heard that. So
I thought it was more like,
oh, you narked.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mohan, I got to tell you, your artwork is pretty exceptional behind you. I'm quite impressed by it.
I'm still getting used to, driving this old thing. This is my Christmas present to myself. It's a whiteboard map of the United States metropolitan statistical areas, and then the upper half is a world map with key metro areas. For those of you at home who don't know, I tend to specialize in metropolitan statistical area labor dynamics. So for those of you at home who have ever considered...
Yeah, you just made that up. That's not
true.
You
ever considered ramping up your business headcount at scale? I'm the person to strategize, because I know the labor markets of the United States like the back of my Michigander hand.
Just give me your email and your hourly rate there, Mohan.
My hourly rate, if you're a Badgers fan, you can't afford it. Marquette fans, give me a ring.
I thought you were trying to get on like Steve Kornacki's corner, and you were like practicing pointing to counties in various states. That's what it looked like.
I'm the next Kornacki, pretty much.
There you go.
Yeah, just need to bolster your khaki supply. I also got to throw in this from Eric Sanders, who says, commented on my beverage of choice tonight. Said the Bacardi family went to MU in the 70s. Fun fact, which I had no idea.
Really?
I guess it's no surprise that there was once a Bacardi zone in the Bradley Center, which was my personal favorite zone in the Bradley Center. However, I thought that was very newsworthy. So thank you, Eric Sanders.
One day, someone on a podcast or whatever is going to happen, a VR cast 40 years from now is going to say, no kidding, there was a Worth that went to Marquette at one point in time in the 2000s.
There's actually 2.
It's a family legacy.
Brian threw up over my cousin Andy's balcony one time. So there I can.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
Yeah,
back
one of my
to
visitors.
back to.
I forgot he was your cousin, but yeah, that sounds right.
There's a
Back
lot
to
more
the
junk drawer
current
to
day.
get to. So
There is. Okay. Anybody else with a junk drawer?
Brian, go ahead.
I got one.
Oh, yeah.
So
Take it.
friend of the program and visitor from I guess it would have been early pandemic days, March 2020. You may know him as Swaggy Doo, Dwayne Wilson.
Great man.
Elite Twitter follow.
He is an elite Twitter follow. Newest news on his Twitter timeline is that he has a clothing line. It is called One of One LLC. One of One LLC has 23 followers. So if you're listening to this, bolster Swaggy Doo's clothing line Twitter following, if you will. He's got some nice athletic gear, I would say. And that's all I got. So,
Jeez.
how is
Give
that
it
not
a-
called?
give
How is
it a
that called
try.
Swaggy's swag? That's interesting to me.
that's a great question.
Let me
feel
ask
like
you guys a question. I have a junk drawer question for everyone here.
Right.
Only maybe neighbor Pete will be the only one who has an answer to this question. But what do you? Each of you guys have a favorite superstar? Superstar. For those of you who don't know, those are the like inflatable mascots that you see, bouncing around that game.
This is a conversation for you and Pete Worth to
Go
have.
to Zuper.
I've had this
only
conversation
you
with so many people. Yao Flamingo is easily my favorite, but
If you want to spend a great 8 minutes of your life, just go to superstars.com and browse through those player cards. Some
what
of
was
Clammy Sosa, Yao
Yeah,
Flamingo, Ken
Well-
Giraffe Jr.,
what was LeBron?
LeBronco.
LeBronco James.
LeBronco James.
I
that's
have
right.
to go. I have to go with Deion Salamanders because I believe it's the only superstar with two heads.
Correct.
Kevin Botting says Alex Rodriguez, which is really good. That's very
I'm
good.
still a big
He's
fan.
Only superstar to be
Derek
married
Cheetah.
to Jennifer Lopez.
I'm still a big fan of Rashard Bark Lewis.
Yes. I remember Richard Dark Lewis. That's good.
Wait, no, you don't. No, you don't, because Richard Bark Lewis is one that I came up with that I
Yes,
submitted to Super.
It might be around a fire at Mikey Lab's wedding where we did this. But
Yes, you are remembering incorrectly because I certainly submitted Richard Bark Lewis.
That was a fake
superstar.com.
news. That was
I think we've had this conversation too many times.
that was a fake news superstar.
My favorite
Alright.
is also my favorite basketball player of all time, Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal's good.
Big fan of mine.
Yes.
And who could forget Pee Wee Geese? If you're throwing
That's one of the worst. I'm sorry.
Well, there's no better way to celebrate a Marquette victory than especially the biggest one in some time than remembering our favorite superstars. That's
So
the only way.
Totally agree.
To close out the
Brian
junk
has.
drawer, I
Yep,
would like.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Who said you could close the junk drawer? You're going to
I
slam
did.
my fingers.
Do you have more stuff shoved into the junk drawer, Pete?
I had something. Well, let me ask you guys this. You think
The junk drawer remaineth open, bros.
By just a crack.
well, I have a lot of questions, but I feel like we're in junk drawer. I can't talk basketball. I had basketball questions.
Okay. We will
Can't
segue
play basketball anytime.
We are segueing. We are officially shutting the junk drawer, and we are going back to the Marquette basketball victory over Wisconsin Badgers tonight. Pete Mohan, go.
What do we get out of Dawson Garcia the rest of the way, bros? I'm very perplexed. He's a confounding player thus far. He showed up as he was like, this guy's our best player through the first two games. Then Justin Lewis has surged into the lead like cuppy coffee. And I think I'm really curious because right now, obviously the momentum is Justin Lewis is now our best player, but long term, Dawson Garcia has the most potential, right? Brian, you want to say something?
Allow me to belay your fears, Pete.
Okay.
I don't confounding, yes, but all freshmen are that to some degree. And yeah, he's gone through it against two really good teams the last two games where he was. Look, I think it's unfair regardless. We all know the kids that end up at Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, that are the crazy impact ones. Dawson's excellent. He's an excellent player. He's not one of those guys. So, honest to God, we can be disappointed he wasn't, but didn't play better Tuesday or wasn't as good tonight. I wouldn't get to a point, Pete, where I'm like, I don't know what he's going to be. He's going to be an elite. Basically he's a stretch 5 is how we're using him. He's going to be that this season. I think he's going to be a productive player when we get to Big East play. Now, right, is your expectation, do you want him to be 16-8, or is 13-7 probably more realistic? And he can still be a very important part of the team, especially if Justin Lewis is able to come along even faster. But he's a freshman. That's probably what it is. That doesn't bother me.
Well, we were talking in the text chat at halftime. The game was close, and we're saying I wish they would drop more plays for Dawson Garcia because it seemed like he wasn't getting a lot of touches.
They didn't run any plays for anybody. It was pin down after pin down after pin down. That's what the whole offense was tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. And at his size, I agree, Bubbles. But at the same time, he stays this year. His value is depressed. His production is depressed. I mean, what can he be at 6'11" with his skill set? Can he be a Kevin Durant? Like, that is through the roof. Could he be a Marquette level Kevin Durant? Yes. Like if you think he's a traditional big who's going to get 13, 12 and 4 blocks a game, I don't think that's who he is. I think he is a score at every level, extend, go to those long twos, go to that 3-point line. And we've already clearly seen that. We just need more production. We need him to be more assertive and more dominant. And I think we need more confidence. I don't know how much of that. I think we see a lot more of that as the year goes on. As you said, I don't think he's a guy that comes in and is, a Cade Cunningham, which we know now.
I think the interesting thing is that, like you guys said, there were no plays really drawn up for him. He still got 8 shots off in the minutes that he played, but I think maybe, Wojo had the right potion tonight. Maybe if he had gone to Dawson more, the offense maybe would have been a little more disjointed. Obviously, he pushed the right buttons there with the turnovers down and everything. I just personally think that our offensive we're going to need a little more offensive oomph at some point. Granted, we did just beat the number 4 team in the country, but we do need some more offensive firepower. And I want to see more of that. That's my only thing that this game leaves me wishing more for, is more Dawson Garcia in the future.
Someone said Dawson equals KD, or Rashard Lewis at best, ? That is
KD was a bad comparison, Eric. KD was like the most dominant player I've ever watched.
I said a Big East. I said a Big East KD.
No, but
he was already
dilutes the value of the Big East. Like, the Big East isn't better than the Big 12 already.
No, I'm saying like in the Big East. I'm not saying like he'll go on professionally to be KD. I'm saying like
I don't want to spend time misconstruing you, but I understand. I just I loved watching KD at Texas. That was one of the most enjoyable players.
Well, Rashard Lewis was like 6'6" and could hit a 3.
Well, he's also an Aardvark, so that's a callback, my friends.
Fair enough.
Here's a junk drawer thing. We're gonna jump back into the junk drawer. Here's a this is the question that I remembered that I want to ask you guys.
I run a loose ship.
All right. This is something that we can do because we have like an influx of freshmen. It's amazing. A lot of good players. Here's our chance. It's obvious. Justin Lewis was the star tonight for many reasons, most notably the game-winning shot. This should be the time that he gets anointed a nickname, or at least the conversation should begin. He has put himself in that echelon that he has played meaningful enough already this year that he deserves a nickname discussion at the very least. Does anyone have anything they want to throw into the ring as a nickname for Justin Lewis going forward. I want to kick off this conversation in Marquette Nation. I want it to be like, hey, Real Chili was talking about what's J. Lou's nickname.
That's it. You just said it.
No, that's too short. Come on.
It's J. Lou. That's great. It's a great nickname.
It needs to be more creative than that. I want. I'm going to crowdsource this. Going off my Karl Malone reference earlier, what is this? What is a smaller version of a mailman?
Postman.
What is the next step? Postman. Prime. How about Prime?
Justin Lewis, the postman. Oh, Prime. Prime
delivers
Lewis.
it. He delivers every 2 days. Delivers in 2 days, whether you like it or not. I don't know. We're working on
it. I hope we got the yearly subscription.
Yeah. All right. Well,
no other suggestions from you guys? I don't know. Jeez.
Oh man, on the broadcast, I heard what Costco. They were comparing him to Swiss Army knife Costco because he's older, which is bullshit. I think Quick Trip
he's in bulk, but
Quick Trip really ties into the podcast. Always open, always got what you need. Very multidimensional.
Sean Griffin says little unselled. Yeah, I think he's his own person. I don't want to compare him to anyone. He's the next great Marquette star and needs a unique nickname, in my opinion.
All right, I agree with that. We'll think of that.
All right.
Well, everybody, what a night! What a game! Even though there was nobody in the stands, we were all jumping for joy in our own homes. Bubbles had a little too many people at the place he was watching, in my opinion. However, what a game! What a night! Final thoughts, everybody. Let's go. Start with Brian Henry.
As impressive and stunning a win as Marquette has had since that Villanova upset, and hopefully it becomes the foundation of, it propels this team to potentially make an NCAA tournament. I mean, this is a massive resume win for them. I don't know if they're going to get there, and maybe this is just an aberration, but I think this really could be the foundation of something that makes this team potentially a threat in the postseason, or a threat to make the postseason.
Eric Pond.
I will start my closing sort of here with an apology to Sean Griffin in the chat, who says he actually covered Rashard Lewis at the 98 McDonald's All-American game and does see similarities with Dawson Garcia. So, Sean Griffin, you have my apologies.
Some direct recruiting right there.
Exactly, direct scouting. I give you my ultimate apologies. At the same time, I do want to bring it back with the closing to a little bit of a last junk drawer. Brad Davison.
Jesus Christ.
God, we have one segment on this show, everybody.
Yeah.
Slam it open and slam it shut.
I can hear people clicking off as I speak. Jesus.
Funny, it looks like they have not, Bubbles, if you weren't in your car on Red Light District Road in Detroit.
This is the party. This is the Marquette party. There's no calves.
Anyway,
no
all I want to say is Brad Davison dick punch equals about 3.85 million hits on Google, and Brad Davison dick has about 4.22 million hits on Google. I just want to congratulate Brad Davison. We sent him out in style. This is my closing. I am so happy to see this team send someone like him home, just absolutely with age meter through the roof, crying because we have had battles through the years. This team, and it's so exciting to see it move forward. That's all I have to say. I am just so happy to see us close that door in this fashion, and I'm so excited for the talent on this team. So go Marquette, ring out Ahoya, baby.
I too am looking forward to Brad Davison's future career working in the gravel plant in Wausau. And that's a highlight of my future. But I do want to say...
Or perhaps nearby Cronenwetter. Well, don't forget.
Also,
Cronenwetter is
you
better.
Guys are oddly knowledgeable about my hometown. So.
Get over it. We know our stuff. We know our Wausauites.
Yeah.
All right, I want to say my final comment.
I can't wait to see you guys as a drunk witness for Rudy Giuliani later. So.
Wait, he's going to be alive soon? All right. Let me say I want to bring this back Let
me guess, the junk drawer.
No. I'm leaving the junk drawer again and just, bring in some real basketball thoughts, some positive basketball thoughts here. This is just a great win for the program in general, for a lot of reasons, a lot of context, a lot of, storylines and everything going on, but really just happy for these guys. Really, it's got to be a galvanizing win for the team because it's a group of new guys. They could bond over this win over Wisconsin. It's a game they'll always remember. They'll always remember the feeling of rushing the court after Lewis hits the buzzer beater tip in. And it's just something that I think will make them feel like a team and feel like they can knock off anyone if they can knock off a top 5 opponent. So it's just a huge confidence builder. And with these freshmen and everything, I'm just really happy for them to get their first huge win. Congrats to those guys and congrats to Wojo because, I'm sure this win means everything to those guys tonight. So have fun tonight and, be safe from Johnston Hall or Bubbles is out. What's the where do the guys stay? Where's the basketball team stay?
Bubbles is already out.
I believe that is Humphrey Hall.
Humphrey, yeah. Be safe in Humphrey Hall. Don't take it easy on each other in 2K basketball tonight.
All right, and I would just like to add, what a night for the city of Baltimore, Maryland. Inner Harbor, Fells Point, beautiful spots. I go there every winter for a trip, the Mid-Atlantic Nursery Trade Show. Steve Wojciechowski, Justin Lewis, big nights for those two. And thank you, Alan Bukowski, for getting us Brad Davison's full stats. Well, not full stats, but a little snippet of his career at the Fiserv Forum. 0 for 7 in field goals, 4 points in 2 games. So with that,
I know there's been a groundswell movement too. We should have Alan on the pod at some point.
Agreed.
We should.
Yeah.
So with that, Alan, we'll see you soon. Everybody, thank you for the live, excellent commentary that you've been providing all night. It is a great honor for us to provide you some entertainment tonight and continue the good times after that amazing win. So let's keep the momentum going versus UW Green Bay on Tuesday.
And I hope you guys all continue to safely ring out Ahoyas over the weekend.
Ring out Ahoya. If you don't follow us on Twitter, follow us at Real Chili Pod or the Marquette Basketball Podcast. One of them. Just look for us. You'll find it. I'm not used to this. Mike Lavender usually does this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you for that. We'll talk to you next time. This has been the Real Chili Podcast.
Thanks, everybody. Woo! Go Marquette!